Oh, hi everyone. I'm Wade Wright. I want to welcome you to the California Real Estate Show. Today is December 14th, and we're just 11 days away from celebrating Christmas. I absolutely love this time of the year. My special guest this evening is Kelli Bristol. Kelli is a real estate broker, and she's been on our team as an independent buyer specialist and a project manager now for both buyers and investors alike. Hi, Kelli. Thank you for joining us this
Hi,
evening.
thanks for having me. How you
Oh, it's
doing?
an honor. It's been an honor and privilege. Gosh, Kelli, besides being a real estate broker and a project manager, you're also a licensed contractor, aren't you?
Well, a lot of the projects that I manage are construction projects, primarily residential. So, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it helps for sure.
that's awesome. Well, I'm sure when it comes to assessing problems and, even estimating repair costs for the clients, I'm sure that comes in helpful as well, doesn't it?
Definitely, definitely. Even just figuring out what's a big deal and what's not really anything anybody needs to worry about, especially when
Yeah,
you get those inspection reports back, right?
yeah. Well, gosh, how long you been in real estate now?
Wait, it seems like I've been in real estate my whole life. When I was a little girl, I would go to my dad's brokerage office, and I remember when they delivered the MLS and books, and
Yeah,
I would love to go through the books. It was dreamy just to think about all the possibilities, and it's kind of the same way. All the possibilities of all the lives of all the living in all the places and all the homes. I love it.
yeah.
But, I have been a licensed broker since 2002. So,
2002. Okay,
yeah.
that's about when we met, isn't it? Right around there.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah. Kelly and I knew each other from a former brokerage, which I was one of the owners in, and she had so much energy. I remember as a new agent,
Hmm.
and I was always impressed by her interest and real estate enthusiasm. So you're second generation, so you grew up around real estate, huh?
I mean, in a way, I'm kind of the at least 3rd generation that I know of.
Wow, wow, that's great. Yeah. Well, gosh, everyone knows that interest rates have increased now substantially over the last 12 months. And, the average interest rate for a loan this year has been 5.3%. What I think most people aren't aware of, though, is if we go back from 1974 to 2021, the interest rate average was 7.81%. Much higher certain years, of course, but over that long term perspective, Kelli, you're looking at today's rates are still lower than the 47-year average, but still,
Absolutely.
yeah, some of these bigger issues with buyers today, what they're experiencing is the qualifying for a mortgage from a lender, affordability, being able to make their housing payments, and then lastly, coming up with that down payment to buy a home. When we spoke earlier this week, I loved it. You coining that phrase, date the rate and marry the house. And then you also mentioned when I said earlier this week, hey, what do you want to talk about? You said just get in. Like tell me what exactly do you mean by that? Just get in, and what are
Well,
some of the strategies?
I love houses.
Yeah,
And so, we're in a situation currently, and it is good to put it into perspective. In 1996, when I bought my first home, we had record low interest rates at 7.25. So,
yeah,
perspective is everything. The prices that we have now are a little hard to swallow, but I'm seeing that they're softening, and I think that's definitely good news. If you can get in, I mean, what I said was basically if you can get in, now is a good time. Whenever you can get in is the good time to get in. It's
yeah,
not always possible. So, let's say you got in and you weren't happy with your interest rate. Maybe it was 6 even, I've seen most in the 5s lately, but gosh, what if you were at 6? If you
yeah.
can afford it, certainly it's not going to go higher once you lock that in. Unlike rents, which if you're a renter right now, every single year it seems they're just pushing how much they can raise your rent to the max
Right.
each year, to the absolute, busting of the seams point of being able to afford it. At least with a mortgage, that principal and interest doesn't change, and
Good
your
point.
taxes aren't going to change that much. They're limited on how much they can go up each year, and your insurance, they're just not. They're not in I had my insurance go up a couple of years ago, and, I was able to shop it and ended up with a much better rate actually than I had started with. So, it's one of those things you just kinda have to pay attention to from time to time.
That makes total sense. So how would you recommend helping someone, to buy a home today in lieu of these issues that we just talked about? I mean,
W Wade,
what are
have you ever heard of house hacking? Do you know what that is?
I've heard about it. Yeah. Can you share with the audience what you mean by that phrase, house hacking?
Well,
It's kind of a weird phrase.
it is, and it can mean anything from, renting rooms out in a home that you purchase. You still have
Yeah.
to be able to qualify for that home, or it can even mean, for some people, it's building an ADU if they already have a home and they want that extra rental income, and for others, it's, just getting in to a multifamily. Now, thankfully, houses that are, maybe 2 on a lot, which would be like a duplex to 4 units, are considered normal residential real estate, able to be financed by VA, which is a heck of a deal no matter how you look at it, or FHA. Also, not a bad way just to get in, right? It's that
Yeah.
just getting in. So I actually think that all of those are really viable options. Financing is potentially an issue, right?
Hmm.
So, but what's nice is you can utilize rents in most cases on a multifamily to help you qualify. You can use up to 75% of the rents, not including the unit that you're going to live in, to be able to boost the qualifying income and be able to afford to get into a place. So it's a form of house hacking. It's important, I think, when people do just get into a property that they're not looking at it like this is it. This is forever. I can't
Yes.
go anywhere for the rest of my life. That's not what we're talking about here. And in fact, with multifamilies, you can really approach it from more of an investment standpoint and kind of, go from there. Go
That's
from
a
there.
great point. I always heard that phrase. People always, overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 5 years. So this is more of a, the tortoise wins the race, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Sort of shorter, it's a longer process, and you just have to have that patience and stick to it in this, have a plan. That's one thing I really enjoy about working with you is that you can see the big picture. You understand project management, how to get the right players into place, whether it's their first home, and just guide them in the process to, what steps they can expect and how to orchestrate all this. Or it could be even an experienced investor, Kelly, where they're astute, they know exactly what they're doing, and what they value most is their time. Can you make this as seamless, easy as possible for me? And then you have all the resources. So I think it works really well as our team having you in your specialty area. I know that you had a couple properties that you brought along with us. One that might be more aligned to a first-time buyer and this house hack, the concept you're talking about, and then you have the other one that was more aligned with investor or maybe a parent that wants to help their children out to build their wealth. Um,
Right, right.
you
And
have some time where we can kind of go over those together?
absolutely. Just for a note, the one that isn't necessarily appropriate for a first-time home buyer, I wanted to give an example. I know you remembered when I moved to New Orleans, and
Yes,
yeah, I think you remember that at that point, I had purchased a duplex in a really, really nice part of New Orleans, the Garden District,
right.
and it was kind of because I knew I needed to be there. I wasn't entirely certain that that would be where I would live there if I moved there forever, and obviously I didn't,
Yeah,
and, it was nice to be able to have that as an investment property when I wasn't there, so definitely it's a good, like, get your feet wet kind of situation, but, I appreciate that. I think you brought up the first-time homebuyer scenario that we had talked about,
yeah,
so this is kind of a cool property. This is in Orange. Certainly, parts of Orange are more expensive than others. This is still a pretty easy walk to the Old Town Orange area. It is not in the Old Town Orange area. It is still a very, very cute historic home. And, it's about 2,000 square feet, but it contains 3 units. Um,
excellent.
it's priced at $800,000. There may or may not be some wiggle room on that. And it's with the 3 units, there's the front house. It's getting $2,800, or not getting, it's actually all vacant, but the potential, according to the listing agent, and this is something that I would verify for sure, $2,800 for the front unit, which is 2 bedroom, 1 bath, single family home. And then behind that sits, I think one above and one below, 2 1 bedroom, 1 baths. And those are renting, or those market rents are targeted at 1,800 a month and 1,650 a month. And um, the way that I think this works the best financially, of course, if it's no problem, you are already planning on paying, $2,800 a month for a rental, by all means, just utilize the back two. But the way I did my scenario that you're seeing on the screen is you're just getting in, you're just wanting to invest. So
Right.
what do? You live in the smallest unit, or alternatively, maybe you live in the front house, but you have a roommate. Maybe there's somebody that you're already a roommate with. So that works out perfectly. So
That's
in any
great.
case, yeah, you're getting all of that additional income. So ultimately, you're going to be collecting, while living there, also about $4,650 a month.
I see
So
that.
with the down payment and the closing costs, which there's a potential to negotiate some of the closing costs. Our market has softened a little bit. So now we can
Right.
ask for things, which is really nice because we were not able to ask for anything earlier this year. It was very difficult.
You're the
But
nickel market.
yeah, yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
you look at this, it's, people think, oh, 800,000, but that's 3 units, that's 3 properties, that's 267,000 or just under per home.
Yeah,
And where are you going
exactly.
to get that in Orange County?
Yeah, and it's easier to find it in the East Bay, LA's East Bay. It's easy to find it in Riverside County for sure, the further out you go. But this is right here in the heart of Orange County, and one of the most near, very, very close to one of the most desirable areas, which is the Old Town
Pretty.
Orange area. I love that area too.
All
And I
original, is it hardwood floors? Or?
Oh my god, yeah, you can see this picture. So this is the front door of the 2 bedroom front house, and it's just adorable. It's not overly, you can tell it's not a full flip. They just kind of cleaned it up, made it beautiful. Those floors look gorgeous. I can still see that they've got some stains. This is not a perfect unit.
Yeah,
In
that's a
fact,
good point. I didn't
in
even notice that.
yeah,
You're
in
more
fact,
visual than I
anybody,
am.
it looks as if somebody maybe tried to make a cat scratching post out of the, like, and that's something to keep in mind. If we can find something that is livable, that the FHA people are not going to have any big problems with, that you're not really wanting to look for, like, again, you don't want to get stuck on, like, oh, it has to be all of this, when if it were a rental, you would totally settle for this. This would be a
That's a
great
good
rental.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, what Kelly was alluding to, for those who don't know, the FHA has their own appraiser, so they're almost like a home inspector. So they're gonna be more scrupulous on making sure that the heating's working properly, plumbing, electrical, those main items.
Well,
Great.
don't let that scare you. It used to
Right.
be a very tough inspection that went along with it, and I have, in the last decade or more, found that has not been the case. It's pretty easy. They're not fine tooth combing through the place at all.
Love
Um,
it.
What's really nice about this, if you did choose to live in either the least expensive unit or have a roommate and live in the larger unit, you're probably going to be out of pocket somewhere around $1,200 a month. I don't know
Mhm.
where else you can live for $1,200 a month in Orange County, especially in a great area like this.
Yep. And they
Yeah.
get the future appreciation, the tax advantages like depreciation, rent
Yes.
increases, loan pay down. There's so many different factors that increases your return. So
And the
it's
experience
special.
too. The
I'm
experience of
sorry.
being a landlord,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
which
Thank you. Pardon me.
lenders are going to look at your experience when, if you go to buy other investment property, they're going to look at your experience and highly value that.
Yeah, it's a valid point. That's
So,
great. Do you have another one that we can look at? You have
well,
time?
one more thing about this one.
Mhm.
When you move out, let's say this is not your permanent place. This is just temporary. This is an investment for you that you're just going to live in for a while. Let's say it's 3 to 5 years. During that time, rents increase, 5 years, maybe 10%. That's really conservative.
Yeah.
So After you move out and you rent out that unit you were staying in, you're going to be pocketing $1,000 a month. That's
Wow.
going to help you with your new house payment on the house that you wished you could have bought now, but it's actually getting you that stepping stone so that you can get to where you want to be.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a very good point that you make there. Excellent. All right. Let's go to your other property here, Kelly. Tell us
This
about this one.
Yeah, this is okay. This is in a prime area. I'd like to also talk about multifamily homes.
Great.
We're in Orange County, and as you know, a lot of Orange County, especially South Orange County, Irvine, Mission Viejo, Laguna Niguel, those are all have like newly developed areas, developed during times when the market was not a fan of multifamilies, right? Everything got zoned during that time of development as single family homes. So
Right.
just to point out, if this is something that you think you're interested in, it's important to understand you're going to end up in a little bit older area. The beach communities are older, and that's why this kind of zoning is available here in Dana Point. You get into uh, Laguna Beach, there's lots of multifamilies. They're very expensive. Also Anaheim, Orange, but you're just not going to find this sort of thing in Mission Viejo, Laguna Niguel, Irvine. It's just doesn't exist there unless you're spending many millions of dollars, which
Right.
is great. I'd love to help you with that for sure.
Well, it looks like some of these folks have taken these 50s homes and put hundreds of thousands of dollars in upgrades in a lot of them, so they're really updated. Plumbing, electrical, roof. Those are usually your big expenses, aren't they? As a contractor, is that what you guys look at? Most of those are higher
Yeah, well,
expenses.
not as bad as you would think too. And I'm always available if somebody wants to reach out and just ask if something is reasonable or what they should expect. I'm
That's great.
absolutely always happy to help people where needed. But yeah, one thing about the other areas too that has changed in recent years is now we have a law that means that everybody should be able to build an ADU, an accessory dwelling unit, which is basically a mother-in-law unit on their own property in their backyard, convert a garage, whatever the case may be. There are a lot of opportunities for that. So, definitely a way that if you already have a home or if you want to buy a regular single family home, that certainly is a way to get that additional investment income out of it.
Right.
So, but I love this home in Capistrano Beach. It's actually Dana Point. There's this little sliver, sort of right as you get off at PCH there, up to the south side. I say up because it's on a hill, and
It's pretty
but
flat along the beach, huh?
this is just such a lovely little neighborhood. Cute little restaurants nearby, walk down to the harbor, bike, whatever. You're just kind of in the midst of everything. And this would be for somebody who has maybe sold a home and is ready to invest some money. Because I have done this scenario so that somebody is putting 20% down and paying a significant amount of closing costs. They're going to be putting in on this $1.65 million duplex that has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, upstairs and downstairs, and 5-car garages, which mean a 5-car garage, which means one of the units gets a 2-car garage and one of the units gets a 3-car garage.
Yeah.
Or if you were like me, if I were to buy this property, I have a wood shop in my garage, and I would be like, renters, yeah, you get to park on the street because
That's
this
great.
this is my workshop now, right?
Yeah, you got your crafts.
But I suppose that would probably impact the rent, and I would be prepared for that for sure. So this is nice because if somebody did want to come in and just get a sampling, get a taste of what it's like to live at the beach, and they have the money to invest, they get to rent out one of the units. I expect that they'll be able to get around $4,600 a month on either one of those 2 units. They both are lovely. I don't know if you want to take this time to go through the photos, but we can.
Sure.
So this kind of the
Nice.
photo is showing how lovely it is. It's a Mediterranean style, and you can see how close you are to the ocean. Like I'm ready for it.
Wow. Yeah, that's really close.
Now it doesn't have an ocean view Might be a bit more if it did, but
Right.
doesn't take much to walk down there. This is, I believe, the lower unit. This has the hardwood floors or wood-like floors. Very beautiful. I love how they've got this furnished. Of course, the furniture probably doesn't come with it, but it definitely looks like it's move-in ready. And then upstairs, if you want to go to the next slide, is carpeted, which can be really nice if you've got people downstairs, because it does tamper down some of that noise, the
Mm.
carpets. The kitchen floor is a little dated, but overall, look at those windows. Look at those windows looking
Yeah, I
out.
was seeing
It's
that too.
beautiful. And there's this
Light and bright.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's this lovely terrace. The downstairs has a little bit bigger terrace. Both of them have nice views of the hills and houses and whatnot. So you definitely get that feeling of expansive space when you look out the windows. Um, and there's definitely, oh, there you go. There's and then you still also have this yard. It's a huge lot. You've got this nice yard, and you could garden if you have pets. They still have a place to be. I think
Nice
it's kind of the
view.
yeah, it's the best of both worlds. So
Yeah.
let's say you come to Dana Point and you're like, I love it. And then 3 to 5 years, you're like, oh, my job is moving me elsewhere. Well, here you go. You're going to, let's say 10% rent increase in those 3 to 5 year period of time. You're still going to be cash flow positive, potentially $945 a month. So,
Yeah.
or at that point, maybe you just want to sell and look at what the thing that's nice about rents is they're kind of tied to inflation, right? So
Yeah.
if you
Absolutely.
let's say you held on to this property for the 30 years and you paid it off, you can expect that you're going to have that $10,000 a month in income after 30 years. So let's say you're 30 and you're ready to invest in this now. And when you're 60 and you're ready to retire, you pay off that mortgage, and there you go. You're going to have an extra almost, $8,500 in your pocket every month. So
That's great.
sounds better than a 401k to me, but maybe
Yeah.
that's just because I
Yeah.
love real estate.
Stock market.
Yeah.
Yep. You control it. You control your destiny. That's wonderful. Well,
Mhm.
this is great, Kelly. Really, really appreciate you sharing this with us. And I wanted the world to know you
Oh.
and why I really enjoyed in working with you all these years. If somebody was to reach out to you, maybe they had some questions on their own, or maybe wanted just a free consultation to explore their options, whatnot. What's the best way they can reach you?
Email is always good. My email address is my name, Kelly, Kelli, Bristol, Bristol, at yahoo.com. And of course, Wade, they can always reach out to you. And I know you've got your information all here too. So,
Yeah. Well, I
yeah.
can forward the information if you guys didn't get that. Kelly Bristol at yahoo.com.
Mhm.
I'm happy to forward her information to you as well. Just really appreciate your time. I appreciate the viewers out there. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday season. And Kelly, I wish you the very best. Thanks again for being
Thank-
you.
All right. Thank you. Thanks.
Bye for now.